Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Coastwood Football live stream. It's the second semi-final of the Australia Cup 2024. South Melbourne of NPL Victoria taking on the Australia Cup winners from just a couple of years ago, 2022. Macarthur FC lifted the trophy. They'll be backing themselves to get the win here against very tough South Melbourne opposition here down in Victoria and get themselves to another final. But South Melbourne, can they become just the second ever non-A-League team to make a final? That is the question that is being asked this afternoon. We were live, of course, for last night's match, Melbourne victory, defeating Adelaide United 1-0 in the end. And that was certainly an enjoyable watch along. Overall, an entertaining game, an entertaining game that only had one goal on the end. But we are set for a pretty spicy encounter. I'm expecting this to be a close game in terms of predictions. If the prediction video that we put out during the week, I tipped Macarthur FC. I'm sticking with that prediction. We should not underestimate South Melbourne, though. I mean, top of the table in the NPL Victoria this season, winners of the Doherty Cup as well. This is a side, obviously, with a very rich history in Australian football. Formerly the home of Ange Postecoglou as well, who's currently, of course, the manager of Tottenham Hotspur. South Melbourne, I mean, they've had a pretty solid cup run. It kicked off with the win against Wellington Phoenix. Well, in the final rounds, at least. Obviously, they were playing through the preliminary rounds. But for the final rounds where we're taking the focus, the win against Wellington Phoenix was a huge one. And that sort of set the tone for South Melbourne, defeating Wellington Phoenix, who finished second in the A-League last season. And the couple wins against NPL opposition, against Olympic and against Hume City, both of those games going to extra time, both of those ending in 3-2 scorelines. Macarthur FC have been really fascinating to watch in this Australia Cup run. Let's pull up some of the results we've seen, obviously, in the past semi-final last night. 1-0 to Melbourne victory. The round of 16 match, which I want to scroll up to here and quickly touch on. 4-3 for Macarthur FC over Newcastle Jets. This was a really key match, I think, for Macarthur FC because they were down by 2 goals at halftime. Let's open up this one. We did a live watch along for this game too. It was a few weeks ago, back in August, in fact. Down 2-0 at the break, and Jets were certainly the better team in the first half in that game. And it looked like that the Jets were going to cruise through to a win at home. But the way Macarthur came at Newcastle so aggressively in that second half, Valerie Germain scoring pretty quickly into the half, couple goals for him, couple goals for Marin Yakalish, who's looked very good for the Bulls already in this cup run. They've shown that they've got the quality on the pitch to basically beat anyone. I was just so impressed with the way they sort of clicked into gear. And they showed it in the A-League last year as well. They're a team who sort of flew under the radar and managed to, finish fifth. A lot of people predicting Bulls to finish, struggle last year, but they did pretty well in the end. For the start of the season as well, we're up towards the top as well. We were sort of looking as like a potential title contender for the first couple months of the season. But sorry, Macarthur FC, chance to qualify for another Australia Cup final in the club's very, very young history. But obviously, 2 huge semi-finals, man. Last night, it was so much fun. Melbourne victory 1, Adelaide 0. South Melbourne, Macarthur set to kick off. All right. Lineups. Have we got lineups in for this game? Yes, we do. Let's talk lineups. South Melbourne. Obviously, the big concern for South Melbourne is the fact that they've lost their star striker, Harrison Sawyer, who was literally signed for the opposition. Of course, Sawyer is cup-tied, won't be appearing for the Bulls tonight. Let's make this a little bit bigger and dive into these lineups as the teams are set to come out of the tunnel here as we speak. You can watch this game on 10 Play if you want to tune in. For South Melbourne, Andy Brennan, Bernarda, Mikola. Mikola's a player that we touched on a little bit in the preview video that we did during the week as a player who could sort of replace the attacking prowess of Harrison Sawyer, which is obviously a very difficult thing to do, especially considering that Harrison Sawyer is 6'5". But we'll see exactly, this has come from Google, we'll see exactly how South Melbourne do line up in this game. Jordan Lampard was the player who grabbed the late goal in the extra time game against Hume City in the quarterfinals. Keep an eye on him. He's been very good in this cup run as well. Macarthur SC, this formation, it'll be interesting to see whether they do indeed play this formation. Again, this is coming from Google, and it probably won't be this. We'll probably see Walter Scott sort of play. It'll be more of like a 4-4-2, if you like, or a 4-2-3-1. We should see Danny De Silva playing in behind Germain. Marin Yakalish, Walter Scott will be the 2 wide players I'd expect for the Bulls. We'll see who starts on the right and the left. Walter Scott is traditionally a left back, so maybe we'll see him on the left-hand side as well. Keely Adamson coming in at right back as well. And it's been a solid defense that the Bulls have been fielding of late, especially those two central defenders who were very good last week, Tommy Uscock, Matt Yeoman, two of the more experienced A-League centre-backs in the A-League competition at the moment. Even Voitster as well, another experienced left back who's been very consistent for the Bulls over the years. Philip Curto made a couple of fantastic saves in the Australia Cup quarterfinal last time around. Anne-Marie in the chat, Marcus in the chat, Tony in the chat. Good to see you here. This game is just about to kick off. The teams are on the field. Macarthur wearing their white and black strip, all blue strip, the home kit for South Melbourne, who could potentially qualify for the final and potentially come up against Melbourne Victory, which, I mean, it was a tantalizing possibility when the round of 16 draw happened. The fact that we could maybe get this all Melbourne Australia Cup final, and it is absolutely on the cards. Melbourne Victory through to the final, winners of the Australia Cup back in 2021. Who will face Melbourne Victory? Is it South Melbourne? Is it Macarthur FC? Feel free to throw your predictions in the chat. So good to see you guys joining us for tonight's live stream. We've been doing a bunch of live watch-alongs through the Australia Cup. Hit the like button to support the channel and the stream here, and you can also consider sending through a super chat. This game about to get underway. Macarthur FC. I mean, it's been really interesting seeing that the three of the four semi-final teams are usually pretty strong in the Australia Cup. You've got Adelaide United, who were knocked out last night. They were good last night in that loss against against Victory. They deserved to get, at least a goal out of that game. Adelaide United, they just didn't have a striker, which really sort of let them down in the end. Adelaide, they've won the Australia Cup 3 times previously. Melbourne Victory won it just a few years ago, won the 2021 Australia Cup. Macarthur FC won the 2022 Australia Cup. And of course, worth pointing out, as we know, the winner of the Australia Cup goes through to the Asian Champions League 2. The Asian Champions League 2, which, of course, Sydney FC, winners of last year's Australia Cup, just this past week, kicked off their campaign in the Asian Champions League 2. Good to see you here, Tony. Tony asks, how do you think Adelaide are going to do in this season generally? I'm not expecting too much from Adelaide. I think they'll be a mid-table team contesting for sort of maybe the bottom end of the top 6. I'm curious about some of their new signings. Bart Vreens looks like a pretty good defensive signing, but have they got enough defensive cover there to see them out the whole season? There's question marks over the striker position. Obviously, you've got 2 young, talented strikers with a lot of potential in Archie Goodwin and Luka Jovanovic. But, losing someone like Hiroshi Ubasuki, that's really going to hurt. So, yeah, man, very curious to see how Adelaide go. But I'm not super confident that they'll be crashing into the top 6. Obviously, last season was disappointing for them. But looking at the transfer window, we put out a video during the week last week rating all the transfer windows of all the A-League teams. And I think Adelaide was one of the lowest for me personally. Just overall, their movement. You look at the departures that Adelaide have had, losing Ubasuki, losing Aaron Kunda, losing Ben Halloran. It's a very, very young team once again for Adelaide. I don't think they have enough to contest with some of the top teams in the league. That's for sure. Good to see Marcus here as well. EA should add Costa. They absolutely should add Costa. We put out a video earlier today going through the A-League teams in AFC 25. Feel free to check that out afterwards if you haven't done so. Who knows where Douglas Costa is? He's not been added into the game, but I'm sure we'll see him in the Sky Blues lineup in a future update. G'day, Christos. Where can I watch the game live? You can watch on 10 Play. For all of you in Australia, you can watch on 10 Play. I know the Football Australia YouTube channel have been showing some of the games. But 10 Play, you can watch for free. The great thing is all these Australia Cup finals games are available to watch for free if you're in Australia, which is great. Now, something's going on here. Now, I'm not listening to the commentary, obviously. I think there's an issue with one of the goals. Obviously, like prior to it, to kick off in any professional football match, the assistant referees go and check the netting on the goals. And there is an official running over to the goal. The linesman's there. And you don't see this all that often. But they've got the little zip ties. They've got the little zip ties out. This is reminiscent of a peak A-League moment from many years ago when Costa Barbarouses was hoisted up to tape up a goal net. But a little zip tie has done the trick here, and thankfully that hasn't given us too much of a lengthy stoppage. But how about that? Kraz Dog, good to see you here as well. Hey, Namar in the chat. Do you know what happened with Bozanic? I know he came back to West Sydney Wanderers, but is he still with them? Did he leave? Because they have announced nothing. It's a great question. It's a great question. Yeah, man. It's, I mean, we'll see. He was obviously at Perth Glory for the first half of last season on a loan deal, and we just haven't seen him since. All right, we have kickoff. First half is underway. Here we go. Australia Cup semi-final, South Melbourne. We had a Victorian side in the semi-finals last season. Remember, we did a watch-along for that one too. Melbourne Knights, Brisbane Roar, the A-League team winning on that occasion. South Melbourne, what a huge occasion for the historic club. Great turnout too, and an effort headed towards goal early on here. Macarthur's backline was so solid last week. Going to make sure they're on their game early on as a strike goes over the bar. South Melbourne looking threatening in the opening minute. Yeah, no Australian national team, unfortunately. At least the Socceroos in AFC 25, which is a shame. Which is a shame that they weren't in it last year as well. Hey. Anne-Marie, I don't know anything about that situation. All right. Macarthur FC, very curious to see how exactly they line up. Potentially a back five, but it looks like it might be their usual sort of 4-4-2 setup, or 4-2-3-1 if you like. Keely Adamson at right back tonight for Macarthur FC. They've had a few different players playing at right back throughout this cup campaign. Joshua Demeski, Yanni Nicolau, Keely Adamson, plenty of options for Macarthur FC. They've got decent squad depth this year, Macarthur FC. It feels like Minister Joski's done a pretty good job of having a team with great depth. They signed a Belgian centre-back on deadline day, Dino Islanagic, 31-year-old central defender, which was a fascinating signing. I mean, Yerman Uskok, that's a pretty solid sort of starting centre-back partnership. So I'm very fascinated to see what happens with Islanagic and where exactly he fits into the team. I mean, usually when you sign players from overseas and you're an A-League team, they're coming in as a starter more often than not. Bouncing around the Macarthur penalty area. Dangerous areas. Philip Kurtzo, huge save. Wow, what a chance. Philip Kurto, one of the best goalkeepers in the country. Great save indeed. I think it might have been Max Mikler as well. Starting tonight for South Melbourne. It was. Great chance. What an opportunity. Philip Kurto made some fantastic saves last week in the quarterfinal against Oakley Cannons, winning 1-0 in the end. The Bulls, 3 minutes in, and South Melbourne are up for this game. So for the Bulls, obviously a bit of a lower camera angle as well. It's a bit trickier to see the formations and stuff. Hey, considering that the camera angle is a little bit lower. Obviously, that's just the reality of Lakeside Stadium here. But it looks like it is Marin Yakalish being deployed on that left wing again. Danny De Silva playing in behind Valerie Germain. Walter Scott maybe playing over on that right-hand side. Let's pull up that lineup that we did see online here for the Bulls. Will look a little bit different to this, you can imagine. Definitely that 4-2-3-1 Rose and Bratton playing as those two holding midfielders for sure. So it looks like Walter Scott's playing over at right midfield. G'day, Corey. You can watch the game on 10 Play. 10 Play. All the Australia Cup games, the finals are on 10 Play. Anne-Marie asks, what do you reckon of the Mariners goalkeeper? I reckon we should sign Birigidi. Would love to have Birigidi back at the club. Would love to get Birigidi back. He was fantastic when he was at the Mariners a few years back. Pavlicic, shaky start. Shaky start for Adam Pavlicic. I think that goes without saying. Some questionable decisions from Pavlicic in the Asian Champions League elite game during the week that led to some goals, unfortunately. So, look, young keeper with a big season ahead, Adam Pavlicic. Hello, Justin in the chat. Good to see you here. Corner. It's played short for South Melbourne, who've made a very bright start, opening 5 minutes. Thanks for jumping in for the live watch along this afternoon. Hit the like button if you haven't done so already. Support the channel. We're all about promoting and creating a community for Australian football. Of course, the focus very soon will be on the A-League competition. Under a month until it gets underway. Very excited for round 1. We are pretty much all set for a live watch along round 1 as well for the Sydney Derby. Less than 4 weeks now. My tea's gone cold. My tea's gone cold. Don't you hate that? You let it sit there for too long. My tea's gone a little bit too cold. Macarthur FC, we're 6 minutes in, and the Bulls, I don't know if they've had the ball in the opposition half. They've been on defense mode the whole time, hey? Nama asks, who do you think will replace Arnold? Well, I saw an article this afternoon from, I believe it was from Vince Regari, journalist Vince Regari, saying that according to sources, Tony Popovich is set to be the Socceroos head coach. He was sort of the one that was been talked about a lot. Seems like the most obvious choice. You know, doesn't have a job at the moment. Chance for South Melbourne, plucked out of the air by Curto, but that was Andy Brennan at the far post. Here's a look at South Melbourne's lineup here. Mikola with a good opportunity early on. Andy Brennan as well. Obviously losing sort of that figurehead at the top of the lineup there. No Harry Sawyer, as we mentioned, leaving to join Macarthur FC. Of course, not involved tonight in the squad, Harry Sawyer, but great to see him back in the A-League. He was at Newcastle Jets, I think it was, like years ago now. Years ago. So great to see him back. Blinker says, crowd looks okay. Yeah, great turnout. Great turnout indeed. G'day, Peter, in the chat. Marcus says, EA did Devon Ishmeer's dirty, only 51. Is that right? I missed that one. 51. Wow. That is low. Blinker says Popovich wouldn't be my first choice, but he'd be okay. Yeah, I mean, at this rate, I'm just down for anyone new, you know? Sort of at that point now. Macarthur FC is starting to string something together here. Voits is down the left. Cross is decent, but punched up into the air. Diaz Lopez, goalkeeper for South Melbourne, who's been very good this season. Good defending at the back from Matty Yerman. Denying Bernarda. Macarthur can build once again here. I'll tell you what, I mean, I think the signing of Luke Bratton from Macarthur FC is a very good one. Yes, he's, towards the end of his professional footballing career, but this is a guy who's got immense A-League experience, a guy who knows what it takes to win trophies. If you want someone just to lock down the defensive midfield area, Luke Bratton's a solid A-League option. He's going to be so integral to Macarthur FC's setup this upcoming season. Good evening, Spencer, in the chat. Good to see you here, Spencer. I'd love to see Monty in charge of the Socceroos. That'd be fun. Justin also says, I was hoping it wasn't going to be Popper. A bit too similar to Arnie. I would have liked someone a bit different. Curious to see, I mean, whoever comes in, I'm curious to see whether they do really shake up the squad, you know? We know we have a few games coming up in just a few weeks' time. Down the left here, South Melbourne. Mikola with the pace, left wing. The delivery doesn't really help them out. Macarthur will clear this up. I mean, positive opening 10 minutes. I think if you're a South Melbourne fan, they've been on the front foot. They've been very positive. They've been testing Macarthur FC. Long ball now, switch of play. Flicked on into the path of Andy Brennan. Brennan crosses decent. Near post header. Lampard is up from left back, swinging it in. Another clearance from the Bulls. Defensively, very strong in this Australia Cup run. Aside from that game against Newcastle, maybe, where they did concede 3. But they're a tricky team to break down. Hey, Troy, good to see you here. Says, I think Yakalish was also a great signing along with Bratton. I agree. I mean, he's already proved to be pretty good. Marin Yakalish, 3 goals already in the Cup, I think? 3 or 4? 3, I think it was, for Marin Yakalish. This is a guy who was at Melbourne City last season and was okay. Didn't really get the goals and assists that maybe he was hoping for. But I got plenty of game time for City. But he's going to be a really important player, I think, this season for Macarthur FC. Another new signing at the Bulls that we haven't really talked about much, but we haven't seen at all in this Cup run is Chris Economides, who signed pretty early on in the transfer window for the Bulls. Obviously, was at Melbourne Victory last year. I mean, we assume he's out injured. Peachy, good to see you here as well. How's this tournament been so far? I've missed most of it because I never know when it's on. I only know this game is on because you're streaming. Well, there you go. Well, at least I'm helping the promotion a bit. So I appreciate you jumping in the chat here. This has actually been a really fun Australia Cup this year. This has probably been one of the most entertaining Australia Cups we've seen in the 10 years that it's been around in the modern era. There's been some crazy cup sets, some really entertaining matches. Remember, we didn't do a live watch along for it, but I remember watching the Perth Glory Melbourne City game in the round of 32, ending 5-4 to Perth Glory in extra time. Absolute madness. G'day, Harvey. Unfortunately, Adelaide United are out. They did lose last night to Melbourne Victory in the other semi-final. So all eyes now to round 2 in the A-League men's, where Adelaide will be kicking off. Of course, Adelaide have a bye in round 1 in the A-League. Alan Stajic for Socceroos. I don't think they'll prime away from Western Sydney Wanderers. I think there's a big season coming up for Alan Stajic at Western Sydney this season. Troy says, I heard rumours that Ange may be replaced at Spurs. Hope it's not true. Well, they won last night, Tottenham. I watched that game last night. 2-1 win to home against Brentford. So I think he's all right for now. I think he's all good. It's a good question, actually, Marcus. It's something that people haven't really spoken about too much in terms of where's Graham Arnold going to go? What's he going to get up to? Marcus says, I think he could be in a small European country. Like as a national team coach or as at a club? I think we shouldn't forget that Graham Arnold's probably one of the top coaches in A-League history in terms of just the A-League competition, right? I mean, winning the first championship at Central Coast Mariners, winning trophies with Sydney FC. This is a guy who, knows how to build a successful team. I think I wouldn't be surprised if Arnie takes a break for a while. He's had a fantastic career. And maybe, who knows? I mean, we might see him back in the A-League in, I don't think, this season or anything, but maybe, I don't know, maybe in a year or two. I could see Arnie coaching in the A-League again. Maybe at a completely different club. Who knows? I think it'd be fun. I think it'd be good to see Arnie back in the A-League. Peaches says, I do remember Arnie got an offer in the K-League a few years back. Wouldn't be surprised to see him go somewhere else in Asia. Gaming with your boy. Who do you think will win the A-League? I mean, I'm not just saying this because they won last night, but Melbourne Victory, the squad on paper, and the way they're playing too, I think they're probably a safe shout for favourites to top the A-League this season. Sydney FC were very impressive in their 5-0 win in the Asian Champions League 2 this week. This is our 4th live watch-along for the week. This might be a record. I don't know. So great to see some of you guys here. Some familiar faces who've been here all week for our live streams. This is our 4th live watch-along. We were live on Tuesday for the Asian Champions League Elite, Thursday for the Asian Champions League 2. So we watched my Mariners unfortunately lose on Tuesday, Sydney FC on Thursday. We were live last night for the semi-final between Melbourne Victory, Adelaide United, and now tonight to round off what has been a huge week. South Melbourne, Macarthur FC. We are 15 minutes in. It's 0-0. Long-range free kick for the home team, who has started brightly here today. Ball. Oh, that's a deep delivery. Kept in play. Just out for a throw-in now, though. G'day, Brady, in the chat. Good to see you here. Spencer says Arnie should do something with the next expansion club, like Wayne Bennett with the Dolphins in the NRL. It's not a bad shout there, Spencer. That'd be fun. I do like how Auckland FC have brought in Steve Corica, who was sort of the apprentice to Arnie, I guess, wasn't he? Like, he was the assistant at Sydney FC when Arnie was in charge, right? Sydney FC fans, correct me if I'm wrong, but a few years ago, I think that was the case. Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. Like, maybe if Canberra come in next year, join the A-League men's, bring in Arnie. Imagine that. Canberra entering the A-League 2025, Graham Arnold, inaugural head coach. That'd be awesome. Troy says, I started a Mariners career mode. Lots of fun, but not happy with Fehau. Low rating of 51. I know we don't know much about him yet, but he seems way high. Of course, it's not always accurate. I agree, Troy. It's something I briefly highlighted in the new video we put out today, going through the player ratings of the A-League teams. Vitor Fehau, 51? I mean, that's got to be way too low. Way too low. Here come the Bulls on the counter-attack. Yakalish down the left with the pace. Does well to maintain possession too. Great work by South Melbourne to quickly shift into their defensive setup. Very quickly indeed. Peacher says, how did the Mariners perform? I know they lost, and the ACL is a step up, so I'm curious. Mariners lost 3-1, but the performance did not reflect that result. It was probably one of the happiest. How do I word this? For a 3-1 loss, to watch your team lose 3-1, it's probably the happiest I felt. You know what I mean? There was a lot of positives from the game, and Mariners dominated the first half. Against a team who was 5th in the Chinese Super League and well into their season. And this was Mariners' second game. I was really impressed with the performance. Obviously, we just need to tighten things up in the final third. And once that comes together, we'll score goals. But Sabit Ngor made his debut for the Mariners. He was electric on the wing. Just speaking about Vitor Fehau a moment ago, he was very good. So there was promising signs there for the Mariners. The goalkeeping errors, unfortunately, let us down a little bit. But aside from that, I think Mariners were strong. We just probably ran out of legs as well in the second half. Like the fact that the opposition had been, as I mentioned, well into their season. They've got the match fitness. Mariners don't. Blinkers says, Corica was Arnie's assistant for a long time. Thanks for confirming, Blinkers. He should do a decent job at Auckland. I think he will. Yeah. I'm slightly. I think we should all be a little bit nervous about Auckland FC. I think they've built a really good team for their first season, and from people's predictions and stuff, I don't see many people calling them to finish top 6, but I think there's a serious chance they do. Spencer's backing Auckland to be 6th or 7th. Long throw here coming up for Max Mikula of South Melbourne. Mikula lobs it in. Great throw. What a throw. Good Lord, that travelled. It's Rory Delap in disguise, but the ball comes away for the Bulls. Here comes Jermaine. Jermaine's still on it. Oh, dude, just lost it. That was dangerous too because he had 2 players ahead of him. 2 teammates flying ahead. So South Melbourne continuing to apply the pressure here, continuing to create the opportunities. Philip Curto has been tested a couple times. Let's quickly flick over to the stats. These stats come from Google. 2 shots already for South Melbourne. Macarthur yet to register a strike. As you can see, their Bulls controlling most of the possession. But South Melbourne, they've looked dangerous going forward. Corner opportunity. Far too close to Philip Curto. Krasdog says, I thought Macarthur would give away more fouls. Justin says, City had a friendly against Auckland and we beat them 3-0. Yeah, I think I saw that, yeah. I mean, it's good to see Auckland have been playing lots of preseason friendlies. They've come over to Australia a couple of times now to play a bunch of teams. I think they played Newcastle. They played Mariners behind closed doors a few weeks ago. I think they're playing Western United this week as well. So it's important for a new team, to be testing yourself against A-League opposition before you enter the actual competition, hey? Oof. Spencer asks, who is the biggest what if in Australian football? I'd say Tommy Orr and Massimo Luongo. Oof. The biggest what if in Australian football. Huh. What do you guys think? Who's the biggest what if in Australian football? I mean, I was about to say Garen Kowal, but he's obviously still so early on in his career. I think he's still got a great career ahead, but it's not going too well for him at the moment, unfortunately. I think he's injured at the moment. Marcus asks, do you think the new Roma boss will start Ryan? Hopefully. Hopefully. That's all we can say, right? That's all we can say. Oh, Justin says Arzani to the biggest what if Australian footballer. Yeah, Arzani sort of had a decent little comeback in the past 12 months. Got himself back into the Socceroos a few months ago. Had a good campaign with Melbourne Victory and, I think will be pretty important for them again this season. Nama asks, what team do you think Michael Rudan will get next? That's an interesting question. Haven't thought about Michael Rudan for a while. I'm not sure. Who knows? "22 minutes have ticked by. It's Macarthur FC who are controlling the ball and looking to fashion a chance. They haven't had a shot yet. They have not had a shot after 23 minutes. South Melbourne have made an impressive start to this game. Great turnout as well. Look at the fans in the stands. This is a huge game for South Melbourne. One of their biggest games in recent memory. Obviously, they've played some huge games. They played in the Doherty Cup final. They won the Doherty Cup final a few weeks ago. But this is huge, up against an A-League opponent, an Australia Cup winner in Macarthur FC, in a semi-final. If they win this, they go through to the final to take on Melbourne Victory. Huge. Nama says Urich, like Tommy Urich, yeah. Rudan to Adelaide, says Marcus. That would be interesting. Spencer says poetic that Brisbane Roar have the honour of being the first A-League men's opponent of both New Zealand Knights and now Auckland FC. There we go. Brizzy Roar. Huge. That first game is going to be huge for Auckland, obviously. Tough test for Brisbane. Ooh, Troy's dropped a ladder prediction. Sydney Macarthur, top 2. Wow. Victory, Mariners, Wanderers, and Melbourne City making up the top 4. Then missing out, Auckland, Adelaide, Wellington, Brisbane, Perth, Newcastle, and Western last, says Troy. I don't mind that ladder prediction. I'd be surprised. I would be surprised if Wellington were to slip that far. I think they'll still be all right this year. I think they'll still do okay. But that ladder prediction's all right. Macarthur, I mean, there's a chance. There's a chance they surprise and jump up the ladder. Spencer says Brisbane Roar winning the league. Poor Brisbane Roar. I mean, to be fair, I don't think people don't have that high of expectations of Brisbane Roar. So, maybe they're dark horses for this season. Brizzy. Corner opportunity here for the Bulls. 25 minutes into this semi-final, Neil, the winner, goes through to face Melbourne. Victory defeating Adelaide United 1-0 last night. Thanks for clicking on the live stream, coming and hanging out in the live chat. Say g'day. Drop a like if you haven't done so already. So the Bulls. What can they manufacture from this corner opportunity? They've committed the numbers forward. Big centre backs are in the penalty area. Jakalic with the in-swinger. Deep delivery too. And that's a good defensive header from Jordan Lampard of South Melbourne. Marcus has thrown in a ladder prediction. I do like seeing your guys' ladder predictions. Victory, Sydney, top 2. Macarthur, Auckland, Mariners, Wanderers, all making finals. Then missing out, Wellington, Glory City, Adelaide, Western, Brisbane, Newcastle. Yeah. It feels like a lot of people's ladder predictions are actually starting to look a little bit similar. Like most people are expecting the likes of Newcastle, Western, Glory as well to finish outside. I do see a lot of people calling Melbourne City to finish outside the top 6, which is interesting. Jakalic, edge of the box. In behind for Fujica. Great save. Diaz Lopez with a left boot. Macarthur FC, was that their first shot on goal? It almost took half an hour. The A-League team have had a lot of possession, but have struggled to create the opportunities. Great opportunity there for Ivan Fujica. Oh, there's a bit of a coming together, a bit of push and shove, a bit of spice in this semi-final. South Melbourne have a player on the turf. Gonna be honest, I didn't see what happened. Looked away for a moment. Here's the replay. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Liam Rose. Oh. I mean, the South Melbourne players weren't happy about it. Look at the reaction from everyone. They just ran in instantly. Liam Rose, I mean, I'm not sure what he was thinking there. Sort of swung the leg into the opponent. I think deservedly picked up a yellow card for that foul. Going a bit rogue, but I back Macarthur this season. They've got a decent team. I mean, we shouldn't forget, Macarthur won the Australia Cup in 2022, went on to win the Wooden Spoon, claim the Wooden Spoon. We shouldn't say win. I do remember that, Spencer. Yeah. I mean, I don't even know if he maybe he's still doing his music. Joey Champness. Wasn't he like a DJ or something? But yeah, he was doing music. I do remember that. Peaches says, imagine an MPL team playing an ACL too. Could happen. Could happen. Brady's asking for career mode signing suggestions. Marcus, I have not heard of this player, but from Fenerbahce. There we go. Krasdog says Grozos wasted his potential at the Jets. I think Grozos could still hit his potential. He's sort of become a key player for the Jets. Oh, here's a chance. Mikola. Oh, great save again. Well, the space opened up for Max Mikola. for the second time in this match, right in front of goal. Shot straight at the keeper. I mean, that is a credit to Philip Curto. He's made himself big there. He's come out. He's reduced the angles and cleared it away with the feet. But that's a great opportunity again for Mikola. South Melbourne. Well, they're getting closer to making the breakthrough as we approach the half an hour mark in this Australia Cup semi-final. Corner whipped in. Tantalising delivery, but Jermain's head is good. Whipped back in by Jankovic. Bouncing ball away from the Bulls. So after half an hour in the semi-final, man, still 0-0, but it's been an entertaining match up to this point, hasn't it? Really entertaining match. Not too many chances. South Melbourne with a few shots. That should be up to 3 now after that Mikola chance. Macarthur FC, well, they have got the one shot at this stage. These stats coming from Google, not quite updated yet, but possession stats favouring the Bulls as well. Looks like Liam Rose is down injured. In fact, that might be Yakalish, is it? It was Liam Rose, in fact. Oof. Yeah, copped a knee or something in the back there. Liam Rose back at the club for another stint. A bit of a surprise signing from Macarthur. Liam Rose, he was at Macarthur in their first couple seasons. Back in the A-League now. Former Central Coast Mariner. Good night, Natalia. You can watch on 10 Play. Thanks, Brady and Justin, for jumping in. 10 Play. I don't believe it's on Paramount Plus. I could be wrong, but as far as I'm aware, all the Australia Cup finals are available to watch on 10 Play, which is cool because it means if you're in Australia, you can watch for free. I think for international viewers, sometimes they show them on the Football Australia YouTube channel. G'day, Fortnite, who says, hello, Lockie. Sorry I'm late. No worries, man. Still crying after the Adelaide loss. Commiserations. Obviously, that was, a bit of push and shove again here. Tommy Uscock isn't happy. You do not want to get these Bulls fired up. These Bulls players. How often do we see it, man? How often do we see it? Macarthur, they're one of the most passionate teams in the A-League. Tommy Uscock was straight up and pushing around there. I mean, Max Mikola coming in heavy. It's not too much in it. And it's pretty unnecessary from Uscock just to come up and react like that. I don't even think it was a foul, to be honest. It was just a heavy challenge. I'd love to be going to the Sydney Derby. We'll probably be doing a live watch along for it, though. So this is bubbling nicely, isn't it? This is really bubbling nicely. The way that this game is panning out. 0-0, half an hour's been played. There's a great sort of tension to the game. Yakalish. Macarthur, they've got numbers forward. That's a good defensive header again from Jankovic. Macarthur FC. They've been starved of opportunities in this game. Will it come for them now? Will it come for them? South Melbourne have certainly looked the stronger of the two teams so far. Yes, Spencer definitely doing the griddle at halftime. Yakalish back for Voyitsar. Macarthur. Good little spell of possession here. But they got to try and create something from here. They got to make something work. Cleared away. But still the pressure's on here. Corner for Macarthur coming up. Peacher says, I imagine South Melbourne versus Melbourne Victory would be packed. It'd be huge. It would be huge. Huge game. Would love to go to Japan. Won't be going to Japan for that one, but I appreciate that, Corinne Walker. I appreciate that. Troy's a bit earlier says, I heard that we are now going ahead with the A-League second division next year after all. Is that right? I haven't seen any updates of late. I mean, hopefully it does get up and running. The second division. It'd be awesome. Another competition to follow. Another national competition. Be great. Another collision there. Yankovic was holding his head. Some of the South Melbourne players were calling for saying that the elbow was utilised there by Germain. It didn't really look like it. We've got 10 minutes to go in this half. It's still 0-0 in the semi-final between Macarthur FC and South Melbourne. Two shots on target for South Melbourne. 0 for the Bulls. I thought they did have a chance. I don't know why they haven't. Vujic absolutely had a shot on target earlier on. It's a good save by Diaz Lopez earlier on too. Commentators were talking about it before the game. The second division thing. Wow. That's cool. Macarthur looking to go forward once again. Another throw-in opportunity where they can build from. A couple of former A-League players on the coaching staff for Macarthur. They just showed on the on camera. Matt Smith, former Brisbane Roar captain. Glenn Moss, former Wellington Phoenix and Newcastle Jets goalkeeper as well, goalkeeping coach. Milos Stojowski, of course, head coach of Macarthur FC, former Perth Glory and Central Coast Mariner himself. Was part of that championship winning team for the Mariners back in 2013. Now coaching Macarthur FC. Did a decent job to get the team into finals last year, finished 5th. Unfortunately for the Bulls, crashed out in the semi-finals. 4-0 loss to Sydney FC. This is what, their 5th season, I think, now in their existence. Is that right? 5th season for the Bulls, I think. And I'll tell you what, they probably had a pretty decent... Obviously, they picked up the wooden spoon a couple of years ago, but aside from that, it's been really good from the Bulls. A few finals appearances. In their first season, they were 1 game away from the grand final. Picked up their Australia Cup in 2022. That was huge for the Bulls, obviously. Featured in the AFC Cup last season. Eventually getting knocked out by fellow Australian team, Central Coast Mariners, in the knockouts. Good Australia Cup run here. 1 game away from another final. Very nice, Troy. Yeah, I did hear about this. Ronaldinho coming to Sydney. That'll be interesting. Karoon says, I wouldn't be surprised if the Bulls dominate the second half. It's what they have done during this cup run. Yeah, we definitely saw it on display against that game against Newcastle Jets in the round of 16, didn't we? The way they came back and scored 4 goals in that second half in that game. Absolutely. Could happen. Marcus is even going to delete all his buying picks on the socials. Maybe a sign of things to come. Really? Interesting. Not long left to go in this first half. It's still 0-0. It's been a tight, intense game up to this point. South Melbourne with the better opportunities. Max Mikolo with a couple great chances to open the scoring for the home side. They haven't been able to take them. Macarthur FC yet to create a real promising opportunity. Vujic down the left now, crossing in. Can they find someone? Germain's flying up. Walter Scott keeps it in. There's Keely Adamson, who has to go backwards. How really interesting decision, Milos Stojowski. He's playing left back. Walter Scott on right wing tonight. Clearly must see something in Walter Scott's game to utilise him in an attacking role like that. Adamson as a Bulls player down in back play. De Silva on the ball, challenged off it. He's gone down too. Bit of an injury-prone player, De Silva. Do not want to lose him to an injury just a few weeks out from the A-League season, that's for sure. Justin says, not as exciting of a game compared to last night's so far. Yeah, it's a different vibe, isn't it? It's a bit more cagey, this one. A little bit slower. Last night's game was pretty end-to-end, wasn't it? Great opportunities for both sides. South Melbourne with a few chances, but aside from that, not much going on. They can, there's a long-range effort here, but that's nowhere near the goal, unfortunately. As South Melbourne have a player down on the turf. It's Bernarda. We did see a stunning long-range goal scored by South Melbourne earlier on in this cup run. In the round of 16 against Olympic. An incredible long-range free kick in extra time from Jankovic. So Bernarda receiving some treatment here. Oh, it's a big question, Matthew. If you could release 3 players and then sign 3 players for the Mariners, who would it be? I mean, nothing against Adam Pavlistic, but I'm just going to say release Pavlistic and sign Birigidi. We were talking about that earlier tonight. Who else would I release? Yeah, it's a tricky one, man. I do like the Mariners squad at the moment. I really do. Who would I release? Oh, dude, that's so tricky. I don't know, man. The one I can think of is just to bring in Birigidi for Pavlicic. That's the one I'd take straight up. G'day, Cameron. What's your thoughts on Popper taking over? I'm intrigued. I'm interested. I'm open to it. I think Popper has shown previously that he can be a really successful coach, can build successful teams, and just interested to see what he would do with the Socceroos. I think the fact that Arnie's just been in charge for so long now, for many years now, that I'm just excited for someone else, for just a fresh approach in the Socceroos. So, yeah, I don't mind it. I don't mind it, to be honest. Couple minutes remaining in this half. No goals as of yet. South Melbourne with the best opportunity so far in this first period. Winner of this game going through to face Melbourne Victory in the final, the Australia Cup final, scheduled to be played Saturday, the 5th of October. That's just under 2 weeks. Scott on the right. Back for Adamson, who's under pressure. And has to go backwards again. Stick around at halftime. At halftime, we'll be playing Griddle. Testing our A-League knowledge. We love playing Griddle game on our live streams. G'day, budders in the chat. What are your thoughts on Douglas Costa not even being in EA? I mean, I assume he'll be added, right, in future updates, surely. Obviously, it's not ideal, but hopefully he gets added. Hopefully. Is there a late goal in this first half? Is there an opportunity? De Silva. Over to Yakalish. Here's a chance for the Bulls. Yakalish bringing it forward. Positive play. The cross is not bad, but that's a comfortable defensive header in the end for Jankovic. And Bulls still have it with a throw. They need a bit more. They need a bit more, Macarthur FC. They've worked hard in possession. They've had a lot of the ball, but just not enough happening in the final third for Macarthur at this stage. They haven't had the shots. Very patient in the build-up too, aren't they, Macarthur? Very patient. Adamson, heavy touch, and they've lost it. It's coming a little bit unstuck for Macarthur as well when they get forward. they're just having a bit of trouble breaking down this low block that South Melbourne are playing. Matthew says Koal maybe goes for more experience in McBeal or Duke. Pavlicic for Birigidi, Noah Smith for Sam Sutton. I think they're all decent shouts. I do rate Noah Smith as a player. I think he's just struggled with injuries so much over the last couple of years. That's right, Troy. Yeah, turn comments off when I'm playing Griddle. I do avoid looking at the comments. That's for sure. I want to avoid any spoilers. I want to make sure I don't have any help when playing. 2 minutes added on. 2 minutes added on. Then we'll be jumping into Griddle game. And a lot going on at the moment in Australian football. A lot of talk around Tony Popovich potentially being appointed as Socceroos head coach. Maybe. We'll see. Marnie left the role on Friday. Will we have a new Socceroos head coach this week? The Bulls looking to string together an attack here at the end, but Keely Adamson's through ball was not going to find anyone. Well, they've been a little bit poor in attack in this first half. Macarthur FC, some work from Milos Tajowski and his coaching staff in the halftime sheds to reassess how Macarthur do things going forward. Because at the back, they've done a good job of holding South Melbourne out, but they're not able to convert this good possession into opportunities in front of goal, and that's what they have to try and change up in the second half. Valerie Germain, again, that knockdown's not going to find a teammate. Yeah, I saw that, Cameron. Sutai got man of the match for Sheffield United. Great to see. Great to see. Justin asks, do you have a dark horse for the season? I mean, if it's probably Macarthur FC. It probably is Macarthur FC. Do I have a dark horse for this season? I want to say, oh man, it's a tricky one. I want to say Newcastle Jets. I know that's a really weird answer, but I've got a feeling some of these young players that they have in their team could have a huge breakout seasons. Second year in charge for Robbie Stanton. We'll see. Half-time in the Australia Cup semi-final between South Melbourne and Macarthur FC. The score is all locked up at 0-0. How are we feeling about that first half? South Melbourne with the better opportunities for sure. Macarthur barely had a chance. I think South Melbourne will be pretty happy with how they defended. We'll be pretty happy overall with that first half. Just missing the goal, aren't they? They're just missing the goal. They've had the shot stats as well. Let's have a quick glance at the match stats at this point in the game, because it's very interesting indeed. The Bulls, the A-League team, need a little bit more in this second half. As we can see here, 4 shots already for South Melbourne, just 2 on target. But the couple opportunities that they have had, those 2 shots on target, both coming from Max Mikula. Great opportunities too. Macarthur SC, according to the stats, yet to register a shot, but I swear they had one from Ivan Vujic earlier on. Look at those possession stats. Almost 3/4 of possession have gone the way of the away team. South Melbourne, not all the time on the ball. Oh my goodness, that pass accuracy. What's up with that pass accuracy? 41% for South Melbourne? That seems incredibly low. I mean, maybe that could be, the fact that they have only played 87 passes. Macarthur have done a lot of knocking the ball around the back, so that's probably helped them rack up their pass accuracy. 41%. South Melbourne will want to improve that. 5 fouls committed by the Bulls. A few corners for either side as well at the break. But it remains 0-0. It'll be fascinating to see what, especially Macarthur FC, do in the second half to shake up this team. Again, this line coming from Google, not exactly what we're seeing in this game. It's almost this, actually. The Earl of Walter Scott on the right. It is more of a 4-2-3-1 with Ivan Voice sort of playing as part of that back four for Macarthur FC. How are we feeling? How are we feeling about that first half? Set up for an interesting second half, that's for sure. And tell you what, this game, I wouldn't be surprised if it does end a 0-0 and we get taken to extra time. Feels like it could go that way in the end. But it's time to play Griddle. For those that don't know, Griddle is an A-League player guessing game. It's made by ultimatealeague.com. And here we go. We're going to give it a go today. It's a new game every day. It's a new dawn. What song's that? What Michael Bublé? You know that song? It's a new day. All right. Where do we start? So we are testing our A-League knowledge live here on stream. You can play at griddlegame.com. I'm not sponsored in any way. I'm just, it's a fun game. Less than 30% win chance. That's low. Wow. 10,000 minutes or more played. That's a lot of minutes. It's a lot of minutes. Let's start there. That should be pretty straightforward, I'd imagine. Let's go Eugene Galakovic. That's a lot of minutes. That's a lot of time on a football pitch. That's for sure. Where else do we go to next? Adelaide, less than 30% win percentage. Less than 30%. Well, Ethan Cox played one game for Adelaide where they lost to Mariners at the end of last season. So that was easy. You could just go players who have only played a few games and just probably lost them. Like, who's a player who would have lost most of their games for Newcastle? Lost. Like the win percentage was less than 30. Like Newcastle last season. I did lose a lot of games. Newcastle Jets. In this category, so I'm trying to think of a player who maybe hadn't played many games. Grimaldi, Nathan Grimaldi. There we go. It's close there on Grimaldi. Born in the 1990s. I missed that. Born in the 1990s. I was born in the 1990s. That shouldn't be too hard. So that shouldn't be too hard. There's heaps of players born in the 1990s, right? There'd be heaps of players born in the 1990s. That's like between the age of what year are we in? 2024. So like 34 and 24, right? And less than 30% win percentage. We can just go with someone from Perth Glory didn't win many games last season, did they? Like, who's a player from Perth Glory who featured a lot last season that's, at least, 24? From Perth Glory. It's tricky because they got a lot of young players, hey? Just trying to think of older players, slightly older players at Perth Glory. Latchman. Maybe Latchman. Was he born in the 1990s? Damn it. Oh my gosh. I mean, he's not that old, is he, Daryl Latchman? Wow. We slipped on that one. But it's time to bounce back. Born in the 1990s and played for Western United. There's got to be heaps of players. Heaps. I don't know. Riku Danzaki, surely, right? Yeah. What? How old is Riku Danzaki? Am I misreading this? Born in the 1990s? What? How old is Riku Danzaki? Am I misunderstanding? I've never seen this before, Griddle, by the way. Born in the 1990s. Are you telling me Riku Danzaki is 36 or something? That can't be right. I thought he's in his 20s. That's bizarre. Or maybe he's younger. No, surely not. Anyway, that's surprising. Let's keep going. Born in the 1990s and played 10,000 minutes. 10,000 minutes. It's a lot of minutes, eh? Born in the 1990s. Well, now I'm questioning every player who comes into my head. We're going to come back to that one. 10,000 minutes for Newcastle Jets. We'll just go Jason Hoffman. We'll play it safe. I'm just going to play it safe from here. Newcastle Jets, Western United. Ivan Vuitza, who's playing tonight for Macarthur FC. Adelaide and Western United. Again, probably a bunch we could choose from. Josh Cavallo. There we go. Okay, we got one more. I don't know why we're slipping so hard on this bottom column. I'm still stunned. Riku Danzaki. How old is Riku Danzaki? Can someone please do a Google search right now of how old Riku Danzaki is? Riku Danzaki, he plays for Western United, right? Right now. Are you telling me he wasn't born in the 1990s? I'm stunned. 24 says Marcus. Are you telling me he was born in like 2000? No way, dude. Are you kidding me? That's ridiculous. I'm just annoyed that out of all the players I picked, Matthew says born May 2000. Wow. What am I doing? Unbelievable. Out of all the players I could pick, I was just like, oh no, Riku Danzaki. There's probably like 100 players I could have picked there. Born in the 1990s, played 10,000 minutes. I mean, how was Luke Bratton now? I'm just going to go Luke Bratton, man. I've lost all hope. Hey, there you go. There you go. There you go. Let's have a look at some of the players here that we missed for the bottom one. There's a lot, 187. It's ridiculous that I got those wrong. 36 players that I could have picked there for West United. And can't believe that. I don't know. I just assumed Riku Danzaki was maybe like mid-20s, maybe mid to late 20s. 24. That's surprising because he was at Brisbane a few years ago. He must have been like 21 or something when he was at Brisbane. Which I don't remember him being that young. Anyway, you learn something new every day when you play Griddle. There's Griddle for everyone for today. You can play at griddlegame.com. Again, it's been a long time since we've got 9 out of 9. It's getting harder. It's getting harder. It's getting trickier every time. It's getting better every day. Getting better. Wasn't that the Better Homes and Gardens theme song? Dum 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 better every day. Something like that. Anyway, let's look at some match stats, shall we? Because here we go. Finally, it's been updated. Apologies, everyone. The stats that we were looking at before looked like they were wrong, and they were indeed wrong. Google has finally updated. 7 shots for South Melbourne, 3 of those on target. Just the 1 shot for Macarthur FC. That was surely that Ivan Vuitza opportunity, which was a great chance too. Great save from the keeper. But yeah, man, that possession well and truly favouring Macarthur FC. Yeah. Troy on the griddle says, this confused me like crazy too. First time I saw that. Also had Bratton and Pena for Newcastle and Western. Yeah. I thought I was going crazy. Let's have a look at the benches for both teams here. Let's look at the benches. Ross Archibald, the player who could maybe make an impact for South Melbourne. Macarthur FC, Jake Holman. Now, if they're looking for something different in midfield, Jake Holman is certainly an option. Interesting to see that De Silva's getting the run ahead of Holman in this game. Jedru will definitely see him in the second half, especially if they're chasing the game. But no other attacking options on that bench for the Bulls. Of course, Harry Sawyer, the striker, formerly of South Melbourne, not involved in tonight's match. But Jedru, Jake Holman look like probably the 2 obvious choices they look like the 2 obvious choices for substitutes to make an impact in the second half from a Macarthur FC point of view. Aside from that, some younger options there as well. It'll be interesting to see what Miloš does in the second half. So this formation, a little bit different in this game. It is more of a 4-2-3-1. So Vuitza sort of dropping a bit deeper, playing in that back 4. Jakalic has been a couple of moments on the left wing for Macarthur. De Silva hasn't really got himself into the game too much. I haven't really seen him on the ball too much. A lot of the possession has been with those defensive players. Yeah. But I think if you're Milosejoski, maybe bringing off Walter Scott, who's more of a fullback anyway, and bringing on Jed Drew or even Jake Holman, shift Danny De Silva out into a wide position could be a possibility for the Bulls as well. Of course, the winner of this game goes through to take on Melbourne Victory in the Australia Cup final victory, defeating Adelaide United 1-0 last night. Big win for Melbourne Victory, who left it late. Let's have a look at the stats from Google. Entertaining game, though, wasn't it? I mean, 14 shots of victory here, 15 shots for Adelaide. Possession did favour the Reds as well. It was maybe, I mean, victory weren't bad, but it wasn't their best game of the Australia Cup run, that's for sure. But obviously the opposition was of a different quality, of a different level. And it was pretty much a full-strength side for Melbourne Victory. Some concern over Brendan Hamill going off early in that first half. Hopefully he's all right for victory. But the thing I think really hurt Adelaide last night was not having a striker. I mean, Ryan White was playing there. He's a young guy with not a lot of experience and is a natural midfielder. They just didn't have a striker. There were so many opportunities for Adelaide last night where if it was Jovanovic or Goodwin or, dare I say, the departed Hiroshi Uesugi, they would have buried it. But lacking that striker really hurted them. Really hurt them last night, I think, for Adelaide United. Angelo in the chat. G'day. Angelo says, hey, man, the A-League needs more matches. I agree, Angelo. What if at the completion of round 26, the top 6 clubs go play each other once, hence 5 more matches, then go to semis. The rest would go to off-season. That's interesting. So would that basically, I guess you could basically look at that as like an extended finals tournament. I've got mixed up with tournament and format. Finals format. I would be interested in that, Angelo. I think that's a really fascinating suggestion. Don't they do a similar thing in like Scotland and some leagues in Europe? You guys probably know better than me. I would be interested in that. Like a mini post-season, you know what I mean? I think that could be interesting. Because I absolutely agree, the A-League needs more games. The long off-season is hurting the game, especially considering that the A-League is a competition we want to grow. We want to get more people watching it. We need more games. It's a simpler way. If I was in charge of the APL, that's the priority. Absolute priority is just to get more games, more rounds. It is not enough. The off-season is way too long. The A-League is just not in people's, I mean, if we had a few people in the chat earlier tonight saying that I didn't even know this game was on tonight, we're going to make more noise about the A-League in this country. Because it's an entertaining competition if you get into it. It's time for the second half in the semi-final. We are underway. Macarthur FC 0, South Melbourne 0. Where does the breakthrough come from? Who will make the breakthrough? South Melbourne were very good in that first half. They were. They did a really good job of nullifying Macarthur FC when they went forward and created some good opportunities, especially early on. They looked good, South Melbourne. Max Mikola with probably the best chance for South Melbourne in the game. Vujaso with a good chance in that first half was pretty much the only shot. It was the only shot, indeed. Angelo says similar to the Scottish, but not the bottom 6 because we don't have promotion relegation, indeed. Justin says, I think a few of the Nordic leagues have a split and play each other to see the final standings. The rest play for relegation. I think it'd be an interesting concept. Marcus says 37 season before finals. 37 game season before finals. Troy says, I'm always recommending the A-League to people. I have 2 people I work with who come to Mariners games now and love it. That's great to hear, Troy. We love hearing those stories. Spreading, preaching the good word there. Love to hear it. Love to hear it. No worries, Angelo. Appreciate the contribution in the live chat. But yeah, dude, that's the thing I'm hugely passionate about in the A-League. I think I know it might sound too simple and straightforward, but I seriously think if the A-League had like another handful of rounds at least, if we had at least 30 rounds, I think it would actually have a huge benefit on the league. It basically, at the moment, just feels like just a bit of like a summer competition. I know the grand finals basically played at the start of winter, but the A-League it basically feels like a summer competition. It needs to be bigger than that. It needs to be more. Tony says, what's been going on while I've not been here? Well, it's not a lot, Tony, to be fair. The game's been pretty quiet up to this point. The South Melbourne definitely looking the brighter of the two sides up to this point, that's for sure, which is a few minutes into the second half, and the Bulls continuing like they did in the first half. A lot of possession, but not a lot going forward. Troy says the MLS play like 40-something games. Yeah, I mean, that's because they have like 100 teams in the competition, don't they? Let's adjust our webcam here. Bear with us. Yeah, it's because they have so many teams, right? So many teams. How many teams in the MLS now? It's over 30, right? Oh, here's a chance, Macarthur. Oh, De Silva just slips on it. Bratton following up. Good clearance. South Melbourne survive. That's right, Angelo. Looks like Angelo says Papa looking like being confirmed as Socceroos gaffer. Watch this space. It's an interesting one. I'm very curious to see what Papa would do in charge of the Socceroos. And perfect timing. Tony asks, who do you think is going to be the new Socceroos manager? Yeah, it does look like it's going to be Tony Popovic. I think it's just a straightforward option. It's a safe option. I don't mind it. We'll give him a run, see how he goes. He's a good coach. He is. He has done well over his career. He's been successful in the A-League. And he's built up some fantastic experience as a manager. And obviously was a pretty key player for the Socceroos a couple of decades ago. Marcus says there's 29 teams in the MLS, soon to be 30. There you go. Troy says 29. My mate goes for Toronto. Saw them play live last year when he went home. Tony says, I reckon he'll do good at the Socceroos. I hope so. I mean, we hope so. I think he will. I'm just excited to see something different in the Socceroos. And Tony Popovic, it's just exciting thinking of the possibilities of just a new setup for this Socceroos team, a new way of playing, a new philosophy. Of course, we've got a couple of games coming up as well. Socceroos take on China and Japan next month. In just a few weeks' time. We'll definitely be doing live streams for those games as Macarthur come forward into the box. Vujac are looking to deliver. Far post. Appeals for something? Keely Adamson thought it was a handball, I think. No call. No call at all from the ref. Question marks around a handball, maybe. Bratton swings it in. Towards Jaman. It's going to fall for Yakalish. Now to Silva. Great save. Diaz. Lopez. Chance of the game for Macarthur. Danny De Silva. And now there's a yellow card for Valerie Jaman. Not sure what for. Ben Abraham has just shown a yellow card to Jaman. Valerie Jaman can't believe it. Was it because of the appeals for the handball or something? It looks like it. Looks like it. The Frenchman wearing the captain's armband tonight. Well, it must have been those appeals. You could see the way Valerie Jaman was running at the referee there. Great chance, though. De Silva's with a strike. De Silva with a shot. Having a look at this replay. Ooh, I tell you what. I mean, did it even touch the arm? I mean, Macarthur might have a case there. I'm not even convinced if it actually touched his arm. The camera angle didn't really help. Troy chiming in on the Socceroos says we definitely need to freshen up because it's become too one-dimensional. I just remember poor Popper getting roasted after losing the grand final for a 5th time. He might have better luck with the Socceroos. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I mean, in some fantasy dream scenario that the Socceroos get to the final of the World Cup in 2026, which is would be the most incredible thing of all time. I'd be nervous if Popper was coaching us because it's like, mate, you don't have the best run in finals. He's lost A-League grand finals with Wanderers, with Perth Glory, now with Melbourne Victory. He's just got terrible luck in finals. But hey, I mean, if he did get us to a World Cup final, I mean, that would be an achievement in itself, that's for sure. So very, very curious to see what Tony Popovic would do in charge of the Socceroos. Mikola, long throw towards Kurtzo, who's going to claim it. A couple of these deliveries from South Melbourne have just been too close to the goalkeeper. Too close. "53 minutes played down at Lakeside Stadium. It's 0-0 between South Melbourne and Macarthur FC. My prediction heading into this game was a 3-2 win for Macarthur. And I mentioned that I wouldn't be surprised if it does go to extra time. 3-2 scoreline probably isn't looking too likely at this rate. Both of these semi-finals have been pretty quiet affairs in terms of the goal scoring. Macarthur again doing their slow build-up play. Pichu says the only final he won as a manager was... Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point. That's a good point. Apologies to Tony Popovic. We should not forget, of course, the Asian Champions League final of 2014. Says it's a different animal from league finals. It's very true. It's very true. I mean, the way Popovic navigated that Asian Champions League campaign with Wanderers in 2014 was exceptional. And they won it in the end, which may never be done by an A-League team ever again. So, yeah, man. Bernardo's down again on the turf for South Melbourne. And looks like he's being subbed off now. It's a big loss for South Melbourne. Bernardo leaving the pitch, one of their attacking players. Spiteri's coming on to replace him. First change of the game. It'll be interesting to see whether South Melbourne tweak their tactical setup at all as we approach the hour mark of this game. G'day, Vex in the chat. How can I watch this game? You can watch on 10 Play. Free to watch for everyone in Australia. 10 Play. "10 minutes into this second half, and it's continuing in the same way that the first half was. South Melbourne, it's been a while since they've had a chance in front of goal. Well, you can see the reaction from Bernardo here. He's in tears on the bench. Possible injury concern here for Bernardo, who's just been subbed off, and he looks distraught on the bench. So maybe something going on with that injury situation. We don't know. Pure speculation. What is Valu-Germain doing there? What the heck was that? It's played right. Oh, that's a high boot. Valu-Germain has just hacked that into the air, and it's led straight into the path of all the South Melbourne attackers. What was it? Was like he wasn't really under pressure at all. He just all of a sudden kicked the ball as high as he could into the air. And it was a stressful situation for Keely Adamson. I mean, it wasn't really a high boot from Keely Adamson. I'm not sure why Max Mikler reacted like that because the boot wasn't near his head at all. Goal kick sent long from Curto. Kept in play. Interesting to note here that Macarthur have tweaked their lineup a little bit. Just the wide players switching flanks. Walter Scott's over on the left. Marin Yakalish on the right. Good pressure from Yakalish. Forces the poor clearance from Diaz Lopez, and Macarthur can build from this throw-in opportunity. But it looks like they'll go backwards again. There's been a lot of backwards passing from the Bulls tonight. I'll tell you what, the two centre-backs, Matty Yerman and Tommy Uscock, have touched the football hundreds of times this game, it feels like. They've been in so much of the possession. This is very close to Troy. It is indeed. This is finally balanced. And Macarthur FC are really controlling things at the moment, just in terms of possession. But it's really fascinating how they're just like, there's just no way through for them. I mean, look at the way South Melbourne is setting up. It's basically a 4-5-1 in defense by the looks of things. A long ball's going to sail out of play. Macarthur just don't have the ideas. They just don't have the creativity. And I mean, if I was Mr. Josky, I'm looking at Jed Drew, I'm looking at Jake Holman, just to provide something different going forward, because it's not coming together at the moment for the Bulls. Danny De Silva's been pretty quiet in this game so far. Fortnite says, does Koto still take an import slot? Feels like he's been in the league for ages. I believe he does, yeah. Yeah. Polish goalkeeper. I mean, he's a fantastic keeper, so I don't think Macarthur mind having him using one of the visa spots. But as far as I'm aware, he still takes a visa spot. Well, we're just speaking about Jed Drew and Jake Holman. They are currently warming up on the sideline by the looks of things. Max Mikler to send in another long throw here. Close to the keeper again, but it's punched by Curto. Cleared away. Geez, these throw-ins from Mikler. Oh, collision. Didn't see it initially, but there's two players down for the Bulls. Goalkeeper Philip Curto and defender Tommy Uscock are both down on the ground. This is a bit concerning for Macarthur FC. The long throw from Mikler was dangerous. Ooh, yeah. Didn't see it initially. That replay shows it. Oh, my goodness. That's a heavy collision. Philip Curto has just absolutely collided into his teammate there. Is that a cut? That looks like it might be a cut to the head of Tommy Uscock. This is concerning for the Bulls. In fact, there's some blood coming from the head of Uscock. Bratton, who was tending to his teammate, is trying to wash some blood off his hand at the moment. Philip Curto is back to his feet. Hopefully, Tommy Uscock is okay. Cut to the head for Uscock. Wouldn't want to lose him at this point in the game. They do have a couple defensive options on the bench in Joshua Demesky and Ollie Jones, but oh my gosh, whack! I mean, they'll definitely be running a concussion test as well on Tommy Uscock. He has copped the full force of his goalkeeper on the head there. He's still prone on the ground here, Tommy Uscock. So we've clicked past an hour of football here in the semi-final. And still it remains 2-2. Let's check the stats at this stage in the game. South Melbourne have not registered a shot in the second half. All the 7 shots coming in the first half. For Macarthur FC, 3 shots now, 2 on target. Danny De Silva had a good opportunity not too long ago. Possession stats. Look at those possession stats, dude. 78, a whopping 78 possession. 78% possession for Macarthur FC. 22% possession for the home team. Complete domination in terms of time on the ball. South Melbourne have racked up exactly 100 passes. Pass accuracy is at 40%. 40 out of 100 passes have been accurate for South Melbourne. So 60 wayward passes, which is not ideal. It's not ideal for South Melbourne FC. Macarthur FC's pass accuracy currently at 87%, but a lot of those passes have been comfortable passes along the back line. So that's not particularly surprising. But South Melbourne, they'll want to make sure they're a little bit more accurate on the ball. But those stats, wow. Isn't that fascinating? I mean, South Melbourne, 7 shots. Got them more shots. They've done it with barely any of the ball. Tommy Wilscock. He's up and he looks all right, which is good to see. He's got the bandage on the head. And he's whacking on a fresh shirt here. So good to see he's all right. Heavy contact there from his goalkeeper, Philip Curto. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in for tonight's live stream. This is the 4th live watch-along of the week. We're live on Tuesday for Mariners in the Asian Champions League Elite. Live on Thursday for Sydney in the Asian Champions League 2. And then we've been live across the weekend for the 2 Australia Cup semi-finals. Huge week for Australian football. Of course, big news this past week. The departure of Graham Arnold as head coach of the Socceroos. And as we've spoken about at length throughout this live stream, Tony Popovich looks like he's linked to the job. Australia Cup final coming up in just under 2 weeks' time, scheduled for Saturday, October 5th. Melbourne Victory will be there. And who will it be? I mean, it's hard to pick because, I mean, South Melbourne just haven't had any of the ball. They don't have possession. They can't score if they don't have possession. Macarthur FC have had the possession, but can't score. So it's a bizarre chess match right now. And it's not clear who's going to make the breakthrough. Macarthur. They just need something a bit different going forward. Cross, again, just doesn't find anyone. I mean, the deliveries, the final passes have just been lacking today for Macarthur. It's been disappointing from their point of view. That ball looked like it went out of play. It's still playing on. So we should play for Walter Scott on the left. Scott gets the delivery in towards Yakalish, who controls. Down for the shot. Liam Rose. Shot is blocked. Still coming forward here, Macarthur. That's a little bit better. In space. Oh, Danny De Silva fires over the bar. From close range too. He was inside the box. And a little bit too much on that from De Silva. But that's better from the Bulls. Better from the Bulls than, as Justin says here, best chance yet. Well, that's 2 shots in the second half for De Silva, who's bringing Macarthur closer to this breakthrough. G'day, Conscript in the chat. Good to see you here. "66 minutes played. South Melbourne. Well, they haven't had a single opportunity really in the second half. Couple of opportunities. A long throw a moment ago, but aside from that, They had some great chances early on. The first 15 minutes, South Melbourne looked like they were going to score first and early. Macarthur survived that early attack. And from there on out, the narrative has just been the same. Macarthur on the ball, but not necessarily doing all that much with it. That's a good pass, though, outside of the boot as well from Bratton. Into the path of Vujatsa, who goes forwards. Vujatsa, another great forward pass. This is De Silva. This is better than the Bulls. Still on it. Rose, Jaman. They're going backwards, but they've got the personnel forward here, Macarthur FC. Can they make use of it? Healy Adamson. Challenge in the box. And it's going to be a corner. That's better. There was a little bit more intensity about that play there from Macarthur, the forward passes, the movement as well. No worries, Conscript. It's good to see you here. We are doing well. We're enjoying this game so far. It's been a tight one. Hope you've been well, Cons. So, short corner here for Macarthur. De Silva, is the goal coming for the Bulls? Scott swings it in towards the far post. Diaz, great claim. Great claim indeed. The goal is coming, I'm telling you. We're going to get a goal for sure. We're going to get a goal before 90 minutes is up. Diaz Lopez, apologies. My brain completely forgot the name of South Melbourne's goalkeeper. Down the left-hand side, South Melbourne, can they attack? Nice cut back from Brennan. Swings it in, and that's a poor delivery from Andy Brennan. South Melbourne yet to register a shot in this second period. Macarthur FC are still yet to make a substitution. Again, I think if you're looking at that Bulls bench, we're looking at the likes of Jed Drew, Jake Holman, potentially to break this game open. Here's another look at that, the benches for the two teams. Zach Spiteri has come on for Bonata for South Melbourne. For Macarthur FC, overall, a pretty youthful bench for them. Another attack brewing here for the Bulls. Rose, Adamson. Look at the forward runs here. There's a bit more drive about Macarthur now. A bit more, I don't want to use the word desperation. Not a word that extreme, but there's clearly an intent to attack here. Macarthur, they are dominating things. They need to start testing Diaz Lopez in the South Melbourne goal. High ball. Good defending at the back from South Melbourne. I mean, we should credit. I mean, we're talking about Macarthur a lot and how they're, spending so much time on the ball, but not necessarily creating that many opportunities. It is a huge credit to South Melbourne, who are so well structured at the back. If you look at their record in the NPL Victoria this season, they've been so strong at the back this season. We are getting that change for Macarthur SC. Jake Holman coming on for Danny De Silva. Decent game in the end from Danny De Silva. Two great chances in the second half. But Jake Holman, fantastic young footballer. Versatile player too. He will play in that number 10 position we'd expect for Bulls. Jed Drew, another option they could bring on Macarthur FC. He'll provide a bit of pace on the wing. Extra time is starting to look more likely as the seconds tick by. Pardon me. Justin says Holman has looked good. Nice to see him on. Decent player to bring off the bench, hey? Very decent player to bring off the bench. I really rate Jake Holman. I think he's a fantastic player. And I think absolutely has the potential to score a move to an overseas club. been at Macarthur for a few years now and has been a pretty important player in their team. And I think this season he's set for a really, really important campaign for Macarthur FC. I think he'll be a key figure in midfield for the Bulls as he continues to progress his game. How old is he now, Jay Coleman? He's probably, 22, 23, I'd imagine. Plenty of bright years ahead for Macarthur's midfield man. South Melbourne. Well, they'll have another throw-in opportunity here. Max Mikela has had a few long throws in this game. They've been fantastic, the long throws, but not too much has come from these long throws as of yet for South Melbourne. But you can see how the numbers are getting forward now. I mean, we don't usually allow this much time to tick by for a throw-in. The referee would usually get it playing on pretty quickly, but the players have gotten forward. Headed away. And again, almost not quite. The shot comes in, and it's a dribbling ball that goes wide in the end. But that's the first, I believe that's the first shot of the half for South Melbourne. Halfpenny with the strike. Unable to challenge Curto in the goals. Fortnite. Ooh, interesting question indeed. Anything on Kolakowski? Not that I know of. Says there was rumors a while ago about Western Sydney Wanderers coming in, but been very quiet since. Tell you what. Actually, I just thought of this and then I was like, oh, no, probably not. I was about to suggest, what if he goes to Melbourne Victory? Because obviously Kolakowski got some decent game time at Melbourne City when Patrick Kisnorbo was there, right? But probably unlikely considering that Victory already have 3 strikers on their books. So I think probably most teams in the A-League would love to have Kolakowski on their books, hey? Stephen Kolakowski, he had a decent season with Glory. I'm still bemused as to why Perth Glory let him go for this campaign. Maybe David Zrilic coming in decided that he wanted to go in a different direction. They should have offered him another contract. They should have offered him at least another season at Glory. Even if he's just coming on as like an impact player. South Melbourne's head coach has just picked up a booking here. Looks like he's having a little bit to say on the sidelines there. "15 minutes remaining in regular time here. We did have that injury stoppage for Tommy Uscock, who's all good now, which is all good to see. So you imagine we will have a few minutes added on as the ball's whipped in for Macarthur. Straight into the hands of Diaz Lopez. Macarthur SC, considering the amount of, possession they've had, they're starting to create the opportunities now. They're going to be really disappointed if they don't take advantage in this game, if they go on to lose this semi-final, because I got to try and find some more penetration here. Justin says I'd take him back at City. Well, yeah, I think City, I think that would be a great move for City to bring back Kolakowski. I think that would be awesome for them. I think especially with the departure of McLaren, bring in another striking option in Kolakowski. I think that'd be a fascinating move. Gaming asks, do you think Auckland have a chance of competing for the A-League? I think they'll have a good first season. I think they will. I think their signings have been good. I mean, Hiroki Sakai is a huge signing for the A-League. It's a huge signing. This is a guy who's like played at the top level in Europe for many years. And he's come to the A-League. Very experienced defender, Hiroki Sakai. Japanese international. So you got him. You got Dan Hall, Scott Galloway, solid A-League defenders. They've signed some promising New Zealand talent, some local talent. 3 deadline day signings from overseas. 3 visa players. Joey Champness back in the A-League at Auckland as well. I think they could have a good campaign. I think there's a chance they sneak into finals, maybe like 5th or 6th. I wouldn't expect them to reach the top 4, but I think there's a chance they sneak into finals in their first season. And generally, we see new teams do pretty well in the first season in the A-League. Both Macarthur FC and Western United played finals their first season in the A-League. Of course, Western Sydney Wanderers won the premiership in their first year in the A-League. Bratton, Voitzer swings the ball in a little bit too deep. Too deep indeed. That's how to play. Gaming has also asked, what do you think of Adelaide United's Australia Cup run? I mean, decent overall, but they stumbled at the crucial hurdle against Melbourne Victory last night. Hey, Walter Scott coming off for Jed Drew here for Macarthur. Good change there. Jed Drew coming on with his pace. I mean, for Adelaide, they probably weren't all that convincing. I mean, you look at those 3-2 victories against Blacktown City and Olympic Kingsway. Not the most convincing victories in the end. Both, that first game went to extra time against Blacktown City. The win against Wanderers was good. It was a gritty performance, a gritty win in the end. Elizal says, hopefully South Melbourne win. Melbourne Victory versus South Melbourne would be a great spectacle. It'd be awesome. It'd be awesome. G'day, Zach, as well in the chat. Zach says, looking good for South Melbourne, eh? I think it is. I mean, they've held out Macarthur FC for almost 80 minutes now. They just need an opportunity. They just need their one chance. Maybe it's a situation of sort of, if they can get themselves to a penalty shootout, they'll back themselves from there. As Max Mikula's coming forward and Philip Curtis claimed it. Foul's gone the way of Macarthur SC. Mikula adjudged to have fouled Curto there. Quick check of the stats at this point in the game. Let's have a look. These stats coming from Google. 8 shots so far for South Melbourne. So that means they've only had 1 in this half. 4 shots, just 2 on target for the Bulls. They're just struggling to create the opportunities. Jake Holman and Jed Drew are both on now. The substitutions that we did expect to see. Possession still well and truly favouring Macarthur. 77% possession for the Bulls. Quite incredible. That pass accuracy is still looking pretty low for South Melbourne, unfortunately. Just 42%, which is very low. Very low. You don't often see a passing accuracy that low. Having said that, the South Melbourne haven't had that many passes, just 125. Elizal, I think that's a great take. Says Philip Curto is one of the most underrated players in the league. Yeah. He's someone I've been talking about a little bit for a while now. He's had some fantastic games in his career in the A-League. And he's won games for Macarthur SC in the last couple of years. Gaming us, do Macarthur have a chance of winning this year's Australia Cup? I mean, if they get through from here, it's going to be a tough test against Melbourne Victory. They won it in 2022, but Melbourne Victory is going to be a tricky test, man, because I think regardless of who goes through from the semi-final, for me, I think Victory are favourites. I think Melbourne Victory are favourites. They just have to be. They've been so impressive in this cup run, and they've got such a strong team. No worries, Ailey, get it. It's good to see you here. What have I missed? Not too much, to be honest. It is still 0-0 at this stage. It has been a pretty tight and cagey match. South Melbourne with some good opportunities, especially in the first half. Sam's here as well. Hey, Sam. How's the game been, Lockie? I haven't been watching. Well, Macarthur is definitely starting to take a bit more control now. But, yeah, it's been a lot of possession for the Bulls. They haven't been able to do much with it, though. And we have 10 minutes to go in regular time. South Melbourne 0. Macarthur 0. South Melbourne doing so much defending in this match. Can they keep Macarthur FC out for the entire, potentially, 2 hours of football? It's been a heroic defensive performance. South Melbourne have been so disciplined this season in defense. Another corner here for the Bulls. Yakalish is going to deliver again. Look out for Yerman. Look out for Germain. Cox in there as well. Dangerous delivery. Flicked on. And it's flicked on for a goal kick. Jake Holman unable to get the meaningful contact on that one. Zach says, I'd love to watch a South Victory final at Lakeside. It'd be packed, wouldn't it? That'd be packed. Sam says, also, what's your early thoughts on EAFC 25 gameplay? What is different to the last one? I never noticed too much different, to be honest. I never noticed too much different. So there's probably a couple like subtle things. We put out a video today going through the A-League teams and player ratings and everything. So feel free to check that out after the stream if you guys are interested in that. Seeing some of the A-League teams in EAFC 25. Some of the menus and stuff have been tweaked. I know the like the career mode menus have been changed up quite a lot, in fact. Gaming asks, what do you think of Alex Paulson joining Auckland FC on loan? Huge signing for Auckland. I mean, what a signing just to add spice to the New Zealand rivalry. It's going to be crazy, that first New Zealand derby game. It's going to be a fun one to watch for sure. And Alex Paulson at Auckland FC. Yeah. It was a shock. It was a shock when it happened. And obviously they had to shuffle around some of the signing rules to make it to get it through in the end. But it's official. Mikola shooting. Ooh, nice left-footed strike there from Max Mikola. Straight into the hands of Kurto though, but it was a good amount of power on that strike. Mikola's looked like South Melbourne's best player tonight. That's probably his third shot on target now for the evening, and his long throw-ins have been a little bit precarious for the Bulls. Jed Drew. 83 minutes of football played. We are well and truly in the latter stages of regular time. Nice run from Holman. Oh, he's gone down. Penalty! Penalty awarded. Macarthur FC with a golden opportunity. Wow. Jake Holman bundled over in the box. This replay will be interesting, but the penalty has been given. No VAR, so there is no changing of this decision. Long ball from Liam Rose. That's pretty clear. That is pretty clear. Jake Holman bundled over in the box. I don't have any complaints with that. What do we think? What do we think? Zach says that's never a pen. Gaming says that's such a pen. Says he stopped him from playing the ball. That's a penalty. That's a penalty. Yeah. I mean, he's going forward and completely bundled off it. It's a yellow card too. It's a booking, which is fair enough. I mean, Jake Holman was in behind there. Wow. What a huge moment. And stepping up is the man who's been really good in this cup run for Macarthur FC. It's the captain. It's the former League On striker, Valerie Germain, to send Macarthur FC through to the Australia Cup final. Germain, great penalty. It's 1-0. Wow, we finally have the breakthrough, and it comes in dramatic circumstances. The Bulls, who have been pushing all game, struggling to break through this stubborn South Melbourne defense. And it comes from the penalty spot. Valerie Germain, another goal in this cup run for the French striker. Great penalty, low and hard to the right. And as Marcus says here, at last. It comes at last for Macarthur FC. They've struggled in attack. They've struggled to break down South Melbourne. Credit to the home team who have been so solid at the back. And we have 5 minutes to go here, plus added time. And now we are going to see a complete flip in this game. South Melbourne have been on ultra defense mode this entire match. But now the game is about to flip. Everything is going to be thrown forward for South Melbourne to keep this cup dream alive. Valerie Germain making it 1-0 in the semi-final to the Bulls. Long ball forward. Hit force for South Melbourne. Cross in field. Poked away by Rose. Still there for South Melbourne. Another clearance from Vujitsa. This is going to be a crazy final few minutes, man. This is going to be crazy. This is going to be nuts. Long ball from Jankovic. Jordan Lampard's getting forward from left back. Still on it. Lampard, infield. Going back. Coming forward again. Yankovic's ball in field is not ideal. Another high ball. Bratton will get it clear. This is going to be a nervy final few minutes for Macarthur FC. Don't forget, obviously we've got added time coming up. Don't forget, we had a pretty lengthy stoppage due to Tommy Uskok having that head injury. Here come the changes for South Melbourne. Ross Archibald's coming on. Fresh legs for the final few moments here. South Melbourne, what have they got? They had some great opportunities so early on in the game. Felt like so long ago. So long ago. Valerie Germain was the player to score for Macarthur. Huge. That's right, Marcus. South Melbourne would love to have now Macarthur, a sea striker, Harry Sawyer on the pitch, but no Sawyer tonight. Sam, when's the Australia Cup final? It is scheduled for Saturday, 5th of October. That is the scheduled date. Saturday, the 5th of October. Jake Holman is bundled over. Minutes are ticking by. Minutes are ticking by here for South Melbourne, man. Certainly a foul on Jake Holman there. Voigt's up. Just chipping this one upfield. Well controlled by Germain. This has been a real grind, this match for Macarthur FC. It hasn't been easy going for them. Bit of a wrestle on the ball here. I wouldn't, dude. This game's gonna boil over for sure. There's gonna be something going on. There's been a couple little coming togethers, a little bit of push and shove throughout the match. Wouldn't be surprised if there's a bit more towards the end. Emotions are high. It's a semi-final of the Australia Cup. It's been an incredible run from South Melbourne. $89 minutes played. 89 minutes. Wow. Karuna says, don't see it happening. Bulls are very good at closing out games. Final minute of regular time. Appreciate you guys tuning on for what has been a very sweaty live watch along tonight. Hit the like button to support the channel. This is bringing a close to what has been a huge week of live streams here on the channel. This is our 4th live watch along of the week. It's been a lot of fun. Appreciate you guys joining us for the journey. And we've got plenty of live watch alongs coming up throughout the A-League season. Australia Cup final. Less than a couple of weeks away. Mikula's going to send in a throw-in from like 40 meters out. What a throw-in. Oh, my goodness. Throw-in traveled like 40 meters from the hands of Max Mikula. Still there for South Melbourne, who have the numbers forward. If the Bulls can get around the counter here. Oh, ball comes in. Jed Drew with a nervy clearance. If the Bulls can get around the counter, they could score here. South Melbourne have committed numbers forward. Germain on the ball. Great turn. Oh, he should have played it. He should have played it. Jedru was like flying up the right wing and he opted not to play the pass. 7 minutes added on. 7 minutes left. Rose heads it forward. Yakalish goes back. Nice passing play here from the Bulls. Great passing play. 7 minutes added on total. 7 minutes. Wow, dude, this is a nervy moment here. Well, for both teams. South Melbourne, an incredible cup run. They made it to the semi-finals. This has been their best Australia Cup run to date. Macarthur FC looking to make it to the final for the second time after winning it in 2022. Mikula in behind, cutting it back. Cleared up by Rose. Still there. Andy Brennan straight into the path of Rose again, who clears. Huge game. Probably one of the players of the match tonight. Liam Rose has been very, very good in midfield for the Bulls tonight. Has worked hard for 90 plus minutes. Great chance there for South Melbourne. Final stages of this clash. Gaming. What team did Jamie McLaren join? I believe he went to Mohun Bagan, right? In India? Someone correct me if I'm mistaken. Another long throw. Kurto's missed it, but Bratton clears it. Straight up into the air. Bratton heads forward again. Into the path of Jaman. Here's Jed Drew. Can't keep it in play. 2 minutes out of 7 have expired. 2 minutes out of 7 have gone by. South Melbourne, can they keep the cup dream alive with less than 5 to go? Another change here. And it's a defensive one. It's a shift for the Bulls. They'll be going 5 at the back. It's Ollie Jones on. Marin Yakalish off. Yakalish again working hard in the wide positions tonight for Macarthur FC. Unable to get the goal. Ollie Jones, tall, strong defender on for the final minutes. It's going to be another opportunity for South Melbourne. Look at the number of players in the box. This has been a feature of this game. Another long throw for Mikola. Straight into the penalty area. Another defensive header. Lampard goes backwards. In from Brennan towards the far post. Mikola hacks it in. They're just not finding a teammate in the middle, are they? South Melbourne. There's too many Macarthur defenders in the road. 3.5 minutes left. It's probably a foul from Holman. The push, it is. And that should, well, Holman getting in the way of that quickly taken free kick. Should have been a booking. That's right, I get it. Yeah, the throw-ins from Mikkel has been incredible. That one a few moments ago went like 40 meters. It was crazy. Long free kick opportunity. Headed forward and headed out of play. Goal kick. Wow, 3 minutes left. Referee telling Kurto to hurry up with the goal kick here. 3 minutes to go. Macarthur FC, winners of the Australia Cup in 2022. South Melbourne. What a run it's been. Knocking out Wellington Phoenix in the round of 32. Extra time victories over Olympic FC and Hume City on the way to this semi-final. Macarthur FC, 2-1 win against Canberra side O'Connor Knights. 4-3 thriller win against Newcastle Jets in the round of 16. The quarterfinal win, 1-0 against another Victorian team in Oakley Cannons. Set for another gritty 1-0 victory if they can hold on with 2 minutes to go. South Melbourne still believe. Yankovic sends it long. Good defensive header by Jones. Foul. Pressure relieved. Pressure relieved. And Macarthur FC are so close now. So close. Sam says, I'm still bamboozled and slightly upset that this could be the Jets right now if we didn't bottle the lead. That's right. That's right. Yeah, I mean, they were so close to going through in that game, Jets. They were good in that first half, hey? Back in that round of 16 match, which feels like ages ago now. Long time ago. They do need Aguero. That's right. They need their Aguero moment, South Melbourne. Right at the death here. 1 minute to go. 1 minute for South Melbourne to keep the cup dream alive. But it's Philip Kurto who has the ball in his hands for Macarthur FC. Sends it long. Jaman, great strength shown, and he's taken it upfield for the Bulls. Loses out possession. Oh, that's a terrible challenge. Valerie Germain has just hacked down a defender there. Valerie Germain is down. We said there'd be a little bit of push and shove towards the end here. Valerie Germain. Well, it didn't look like he made too much contact with the opposition player there. Justin says off. It didn't look like there was all that much contact. There is a yellow card. Oh, is it a second yellow? Oh, it is. He's off. Oh, that's monumental. It is the second yellow. Valerie Germain is off. And the French striker will be missing for the cup final. And there's something going on in the stands. There's security guards everywhere surrounding the tunnel. Something is going on in the stands. The game has been halted here. Valerie Germain, well, it's just stupid, isn't it? Macarthur FC will be without their star striker for the cup final. There's another yellow card out here for Ben Abraham has been directed towards the South Melbourne bench. Wow. Justin says will be a huge miss for the final. Indeed. I mean, it's shocking. Now, what's going on here? The referees are having a discussion here. Injury time has expired. The referees are having a chat. Someone's being called over here. Ben Abraham is pulling a card out of the pocket. It's a yellow card for Ollie Jones. No idea why. Who knows how long we have left to play? Crazy scenes at the end of this semi-final. Valerie Germain sent off and will miss the cup final. Incredible. Goalkeeper sends it long for South Melbourne. This could be the last chance. Adamson hacks it clear. Hellman on the attack. Here comes Jake Holman. Still going. Great challenge at the back. Is there time? Dude, is there even time? We are well past the allotted 7 minutes. That's an awful cross. It's an awful, awful cross from Jordan Lampard. That's just trickled out of play. And that might bring an end to this semi-final. Wasted chances, edits. That's right. Oh, my goodness. Wow. Macarthur FC have done it, dude. Macarthur FC have done it. South Melbourne's incredible Australia Cup 2024 run comes to an end. And Macarthur FC qualify for their second ever Australia Cup final. Full time at Lakeside. Dramatic scenes at the death with Valerie Germain losing his head, committing the challenge, getting sent off. A truly bizarre decision. A needless challenge from Valerie Germain means he's now going to miss the cup final for Macarthur FC. A huge blow for the Bulls. If you're a Bulls fan, you are absolutely spewing with your actions from your captain there. It's a huge loss, but it's a huge 1-0 win for Macarthur FC. Another 1-0 win too. It was gritty last week against Oakley Cannons, and it's gritty once again here. Digging deep. What a marathon of a match that had it all in the end. South Melbourne. I mean, so valiant, the effort throughout that game, the way they defended, the way they stayed so strong in their defensive shape. Let's have a look at some of the stats from this match. And as you can see here, I mean, 9 shots overall from South Melbourne, just a 3 on target. Just the 6 shots from Macarthur. It wasn't an overall, it wasn't an overly entertaining game. But you can see that the Bulls dominating possession. Like penalty goal from Germain, 85th minute. And then the red card to Germain right at the death. I mean, absolutely shocking. I mean, right at the end of the game. There's no need to make that. It was up the other end of the field too. Valerie Germain has just flown in. He's been sent off and he's going to miss. I can't believe that. I cannot believe that from Valerie Germain, man. Incredible. Incredible. Justin says, credit to South. They played well. I mean, defensively, their organization at the back was just fantastic. The way they stayed so disciplined and so well organized, really admirable. And that's been a real key feature of South Melbourne this whole season in all the competitions that they've featured in, how strong they've been at the back. And they nullified Macarthur to just 6 shots overall. And it had to come from the penalty spot in the end for the Bulls. Valerie Germain made no mistake. Oh, my goodness, dude. Blinker says, such a silly red card to get for Macarthur. Will make beating victory all the harder. Yep. Tell you what, dude. I mean, Australia Cup final now. Melbourne victory, Macarthur FC. But that one player change, that one change of Germain being out, completely affects the chances of them winning that final. Melbourne victory are huge favourites to win this Australia Cup this year. Huge favourites now. Valerie Germain. And I tell you what, well, Harrison Sawyer can't play, can he? Because he's cup tied. Harrison Sawyer can't even play in the final. So Macarthur FC don't even have a striker for the cup final. I mean, it's just bewildering. A player of this experience and this pedigree, Valerie Germain, who's played at the top level in France. Just a lapse of concentration at the end there. I cannot fathom it. It's a huge loss. Oh, my gosh. Anthony says, surely if you're an A-League club, you sign some South Melbourne players. Well, we've already seen Sawyer link up with Macarthur. That sums it up, Edits. That's right. He went from hero to zero. I mean, an incredible final few moments there for Germain, from scoring the winning goal to being sent off. Yeah, crazy. That's right, Blinkers. No Sawyer. No Harry Sawyer for the final. Karoon says, don't think we are favourites since it will most likely be played in Sydney. Can see us losing 1-0. Wow, dude. I mean, this Macarthur SC side, credit to them as well for having this incredible run that has seen them break through adversity. We think back to, we were doing a live watch along for that Newcastle Jets game in the round of 16 to dig deep in that game, come from 2 goals down and win 4-3 in the end. And here they are. They're showing incredible spirit and character. And they're in another Australia Cup final. And it's quite interesting, isn't it? We've got Mel Victory, who won the 2021 Australia Cup. Macarthur SC winning the 2022 Australia Cup. One of these teams will be winning the cup and going through to the Asian Champions League 2 this year. No worries, Sam. Thanks so much for jumping in tonight as well, Sam. Says, can't wait for the cup final watch along if you decide to do a stream, but you probably will. We will indeed. Absolutely. Yes. That'll probably be our next live stream as well. Australia Cup final. It's scheduled for May 5th. May 5th. October 5th. What am I saying? Saturday, October 5th. So we'll definitely be doing a live watch along for that one as well. That's for sure. So make sure you join us for that one there. We released a new video today going through the A-League teams and ratings in EAFC 25. If you're interested in that, feel free to check it out afterwards. And we are counting down the days until the A-League kicks off as well in just a few weeks' time. Guys, thank you very much for tuning in. We greatly appreciate it. Hopefully you enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening. Appreciate you guys joining me for this mega live stream. It's been an incredibly entertaining match, ending 1-0 in the end to Macarthur FC. They go through to the Australia Cup final and will be taking on Melbourne Victory. Cheers, Lukey. Appreciate that, man. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in tonight. Blinkers, Karoon, A-League Edits, Pichu, Justin, everyone here tonight. Hit the like button on the way out. Really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.